Ew. Hi, everyone. I am Paul Cram. I'm looking forward actually to touching a little bit on some of the books that I've been reading lately. For any fellow book lovers out there, um, I am going to be touching mostly on some of the books that I've read this year that deal with performing and acting and um, I'm just going to give a list of the ones that are on my shelf that I'm going to be uh, reading as well. So hopefully you hopefully you enjoy. All right. So for those of you that pay super close attention, I did read How to Book Acting Jobs 3.0. And I did an entire conversation with the author, Cathy Reinking. So if you haven't checked that out already, I recommend it. I also recommend the book. It's really, it's insightful. I mean, she goes through the basics, which is nice. But what I really appreciate is Cathy's sort of approach on work-life balance and kind of like her definition of success. And she really encourages people to um, be their own content creator. So How to Book Acting Jobs 3.0. Read that. I highly recommend it. I recently just finished, I say recently because Cathy's book, I read that a couple years ago actually, and just now I'm kind of getting that all out there. But another book that I picked up was Ask an Agent. This book is written in an interesting format. It's written for those that are watching, you can see visually, it's written as a question and then an answer. Each page is a question and an answer. And I don't think that there's any, I don't know. The thing is I really found it helpful because while he covers some of the basic stuff, like how do I get an agent? So how do I get an agent's attention? Will you come see my play? What material should I submit? There's also a series of questions in here towards that dive in deeper than that. And the one, question number 66, is the one that I really loved. How come I haven't heard from production but shoot in a few days? And his answer is just spot on and insightful and helpful. And I wish that I would have read this a long time ago, because I myself am just a detail oriented person, and I get anxious when I'm like, okay, I need to know the details. Like what's going on? I need to make sure this is all good. And I kind of had a little bit of a freak out earlier this year on a film that I was working on up in Duluth, because I didn't have all of the details. And I really wish I would have read this because it just would have calmed me down in a really wonderful way. So I recommend this book too, Ask an Agent by Jason Lockhart. Um, you know, it's not lost on me actually. Both of these books, Cathy Reinking's book and Jason Lockhart's book, these are both people that are working in Atlanta, Georgia right now. So I think that that's interesting, and it's telling a lot about where the industry is at. All right. I just today finished this book, Commercial Acting in LA, a Session Director's Guide by Shaan Sharma. Now, Shaan is somebody who he used to live in the Twin Cities. So he and our paths crossed a lot back in the day. And it's really fun to read something that he's written. He's written a ton of stuff. He writes for Backstage, and he's been in LA now for quite some time. But anyway, I definitely, this is a fun read. There's things in it that do not apply to, specifically Twin Cities actors, but that doesn't matter. I actually think that those differences are really interesting. In I'm gonna reach out to Shaan, and we'll see if potentially he and I maybe will do a conversation and chit chat about it. But if you haven't read it and you live, no matter where you live, I would recommend just looking at it. He touches on some really good things as far as training goes. He touches on some interesting things. You just have to slightly tweak it because he's really specific in what he's talking about. So you just might have to tweak it for whatever you're auditioning for, be it theatrical productions and stuff. So that's that. But I have a stack. These are ones I have not read yet, and I'm looking forward to them. Some of these have been recommended to me by fellow actors, and some of them I just came across online, and I was like, that sounds interesting. So, Truth in Comedy is one that was recommended to me, and it's the manual for improvisation. I'm looking forward to reading that. Self-Management for Actors by Bonnie Gillespie. This looks like a doozy of a book, and I'm curious to kind of look over it and read it. Acting Class by Milton Katselas, I think. I'm looking forward to reading this. And No Small Parts by Laura. Sorry, Laura, I'm going to probably kill your last name. Cayouette, something like that. So these are ones that I'm looking forward to reading. There are a couple actually that I read, and I don't have them in the stack here. Something that I have found interesting. Let me see. I do see it on my bookshelf. One second. These, I don't know about you as performers, but for me, I definitely memorizing stuff sometimes comes easy and sometimes it's really hard. And I think I get really wrapped up in my brain and head when I'm trying to memorize. Part of this is probably from I've done some theater, and I had a really challenging, hard experience once, and I think that always sticks in the back of my mind when I'm trying to memorize big chunks of dialogue. So I've been reading some stuff on memorization and memory. This was great, Memorization for Actors by Alexa Ispas. This is a really fast, quick read. And I like how she kind of she goes over some stuff that deals with our brains, and she's like, you know what? Most people don't have an advantage or edge. They have some practice, and she gives some tips and insights in how to memorize. And I found it really helpful, and I read this really recently. So this is one that I recommend, and I'm excited to test it out on a project. The other one that I've been kind of really slowly working my way through is The Memory Book. This is by Harry Lorayne and Jerry Lucas. This one is a little bit more of a hard read. It's just a little bit more dense, but there's some things in there where I'm just like, oh, okay, I get the concept. I get what they're kind of driving at. I am going to finish it. It's a little bit slower going because there's things to practice. But yeah, they've been really helpful for me in improving my memorization skill set. So I recommend those. What about you? Is anybody reading anything interesting that I haven't listed recently? Let me know, because I'm always on the hunt for a really good book. Even if it's not related to acting, let me know. Like I said, always on the hunt. All right, everybody. Thank you.